They warned me about your storm, but I found peace in your chaos. You were the risk I was never supposed to take, and now I can't imagine a world without you. You were trouble, and I was the fool who welcomed it in, only to find myself caught in its beauty. In your whirlwind, I found clarity in the confusion, and now I can't turn away. They said you were chaos, but I see the symphony behind every shattered piece. You were everything I was warned against, but now I crave every moment of your madness. Sometimes trouble looks like the most beautiful disaster, and I'm addicted to it. They warned me, but it was your chaos that showed me where I truly belong. In the storm you brought, I discovered a strange sense of calm. They told me to run from your wildness, but all I've done is run deeper into it. I never knew trouble could feel so much like home until you entered my world. They said your world was a mess, but now it feels like the only place I want to be. Every moment with you is a storm I never want to end, no matter how much it breaks me. They called you trouble, but you were the kind of trouble I needed to find myself. I was afraid of your chaos, but now I can't imagine life without it. In your chaos, I found something more beautiful than I ever imagined. They said I'd regret it, but now I know I'm addicted to the very thing they warned me about. Your chaos is a drug, and I'm forever hooked on its high. They warned me you'd burn me, but now I can't help but crave the flames. You were the trouble they feared, but you became the peace I never knew I needed. They said you were a hurricane, but I found solace in your winds. In your wildness, I found the parts of me that were always hidden. They told me you'd be a storm, but I've never felt so alive in the rain. You are the chaos that makes sense to my soul. They warned me that you would change everything, but I had no idea it would be for the better. Every spark of chaos you bring ignites a passion I can't extinguish. You were trouble, and now you've become my greatest addiction. They said you would destroy me, but I feel more whole than ever before. Your chaos is a mystery I can't stop trying to unravel. The storm you bring into my life is the only one I ever want to weather. They said you'd break me, but I've never felt more alive in the ruins. You were the chaos I feared, but now it feels like the only thing that makes sense. They told me to stay away, but your madness is the only place I ever wanted to be. You brought me trouble, but you also gave me something worth fighting for. In your wild heart, I found a home I never thought existed. They said you would be my downfall, but you've become my greatest adventure. You're the trouble I never saw coming, but now I wouldn't change a thing. They told me you were trouble, but I found my strength in your chaos. You were the storm, and now I can't imagine life without your rain. They warned me about your destruction, but in your chaos I found my freedom. You were the unexpected storm I need, and I'm addicted to the way you change me. They said you would ruin me, but you've made me more whole than I ever knew possible. Your chaos is my favorite kind of disorder. They said you were trouble, but you were the spark that set my soul on fire. In the madness of your love, I found the calm I never expected. They told me your world was too much, but I found my place in the chaos. You brought trouble into my life, but you also gave me everything worth living for. They warned me about your storm, but it's the only place I feel truly alive. In your chaos, I found a rhythm I didn't know I was searching for. They said you were trouble, but your love was the only trouble I wanted. You were the storm I thought I couldn't survive, but now it's the place I thrive. They warned me you'd wreck me, but instead you rebuilt me from the ground up. You were the chaos that put everything else in perspective. They said you would break me, but in your wildness, I found my strength. You were the trouble I never expected, but now I can't imagine a life without you. They warned me about you, but now I can't escape the pull of your beautiful chaos. You were the chaos I didn't know I needed to grow. They said you were trouble, but I'm addicted to the way you make my world feel alive. In your madness, I've discovered a love I can't let go of. They said you were chaos, but in you, I found everything I've ever wanted. They told me you were trouble, but now your chaos feels like home to me. In your whirlwind, I found a strange kind of peace I never thought possible. They said you'd tear me apart, but you've only stitched the broken parts of me back together. You are the chaos I never saw coming, and yet I can't live without it. They said your storm would drown me, but I've learned how to swim in your chaos. You brought the trouble, but now I realize it was the only thing that ever made me feel alive. They said you were my downfall, but you've become the best thing that's ever happened to me. In your unpredictable madness, I found a love that makes sense of the world. They warned me about you, but I never understood how much your chaos would complete me. You were the storm I tried to avoid, but now I crave every drop of rain you bring. They said you'd ruin me, but I've found that your chaos has made me stronger than ever. You were trouble in the most beautiful form, and now I can't imagine life without it. They told me to run, but your chaos is the only thing that makes me feel free. You were the unexpected storm that changed my life, and I wouldn't want it any other way. They said you were too much, but I've discovered you're exactly what I needed. In your beautiful chaos, I've found my place in this world. They told me you'd bring nothing but destruction, but your chaos has created a world I never want to leave. You were the trouble I was warned against, but now I'm addicted to the way it makes me feel alive. They said your chaos would break me, but instead, it's been the catalyst for my growth. You are the storm I never thought I could survive, but now it's the one I can't live without. They warned me you were trouble, but your chaos has become the rhythm of my heart. You were everything I was told to stay away from, but now I'm drawn to it more than ever. They said you were a disaster, but in your chaos I found a love I can't walk away from. Your wildness is the fire I never knew I needed to burn away the past. They said you would wreck me, but instead, you've built me into something stronger. In the confusion of your chaos, I found clarity about who I truly am. They told me you were trouble, but now I'm addicted to the thrill of your madness. You brought the chaos I thought I didn't need, but now I can't imagine life without it. They said you would destroy me, but in your destruction, I found rebirth. You are the chaos that fuels my passion, and I can't stop craving it. They warned me about your storm, but now I find comfort in the unpredictability of your love. You were trouble, and now I realize that trouble was the best thing that ever happened to me. They said you were dangerous, but now your chaos feels like the safest place I've ever been. You were the chaos I feared, but now I find myself lost in the beauty of it all. They warned me that you would break me, but instead you've made me whole. You were the trouble that kept me awake, and now I find peace in the thoughts of you. They told me your chaos would leave me broken, but I've found strength in every piece of you. You were the storm I tried to avoid, but now it's the only place I feel alive. They said you would ruin everything, but your chaos has turned my life into something extraordinary. In your wild heart, I found the calm I was always looking for. They said you were trouble, but now I can't imagine living without the fire you bring. You were the madness I never wanted, but now it's the only thing I crave. They warned me you'd hurt me, but instead you taught me what real love feels like. You were the chaos that knocked me off course, but now I realize it was the path I was meant to follow. They told me you were dangerous, but in your wildness, I found the courage to be myself. You brought trouble into my life, but in that trouble, I found everything worth living for. They said you'd break my heart, but in your chaos, I found my soul's true calling. You are the storm I never thought I needed, and now I can't escape its pull. They warned me you would destroy me, but your chaos is the only thing that makes me feel whole. You were the trouble I feared, but in your chaos I've found the love I've always dreamed of. They said you were a hurricane, but I've learned to dance in your winds. You were the chaos I resisted, but now it's the only thing I long for. They said you were the storm that would tear me apart, but now I see the beauty in every raindrop. You were trouble, but in your wildness, I discovered the most genuine love I've ever known. They told me to stay away from you, but now I can't live without the beautiful chaos you bring. You were the storm I thought would break me, but now I find peace in the chaos of your love. They warned me that you were trouble, but now I know that trouble was the greatest gift.